Thank you so much for staying to this channel. Welcome to another edition of Africa Discourse. I am Wilson Marshall. Today is all about the protests going on in DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, with our President Tshisekedi appointing a very close friend of his to be the electoral umpire head. Yeah, talking about the chairman. It's like in Nigeria, you have a chairman of INEC, and of course in DR Congo, we are talking about a close part of the president becoming the independent electoral body for DR Congo, the chairman. And that didn't go down too well with the citizens of DR Congo. They went out to the street, Khartoum, to start protesting. Election is in 2 years' time, yes, but I said to keep protesting till the day of the election. The big question now is, how can we depoliticize, yes, electoral commission from the election, from the politics? Some are saying in Africa, if you are an umpire somewhere along the line, as long as you are appointed, you must only have this affiliation to the person in charge. After all, he that pays the piper dictates the tune. What do you feel about what is happening right now in Congo? Is it predominant in African countries? Anyway, my analyst will be the one to throw more light on that. With me here in the studio, I have a very gentleman, a political analyst, political affairs commentator, and of course, one-time journalist, always a journalist. I want to talk about some time ago, it's a long time ago, some time ago, whatever, he was number one when you talk about the youths, yes, in Nigeria. Join me to welcome Honorable Agarase Idubo. Welcome to Africa Discourse.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's been like eons right now.
The torture of it here is what we'll talk about later.
All right, all right. When you get to hear this man talk, you'll be like, man, he's really, really amongst the people. He's the voice of the people. He is a clergyman. He's also a lecturer in the College of Medicine. Medical Science. He keeps on correcting me. Medical Sciences. Yes, Uniben. And when you talk about activism, one way or another, he's still there. And he's very much active. Is it about us to now what? Yeah. Join me to welcome Honorable Frank Amigo. Welcome to Africa Discourse. I appreciate you coming.
Good afternoon, Honorable. There's a more senior Honorable.
Okay, now let's put the ball in the court. Congo, they are saying if any other African countries, they can take it hook, line, and sinker, they will not allow it because the President Tshisekedi has done the unthinkable according to them. For that reason, they choose to go out to the street to say enough is enough. You just can't make the electoral umpire of someone that is so close to you. In fact, they're almost like best of powers. It was like, I want you to head this commission. Of course, election is in 2 years' time, but people are just like, we don't like this arrangement. We don't want this arrangement. We're going to let all hell right now, in quote, loose. They are right now in the street and they are in Congo protesting. But what do you feel about the development, Honorable Agarase Idubo?
Yeah, it's. I think the emphasis should not be that the president appointed his friends. I mean, that to me should not be the emphasis. It could appoint your friend, why not? I mean, my own take on that is the follow-up that this friend is a corrupt friend. It is a corruption in this friend that I think is making it unacceptable to the people. It has been proven that this, your friend, yes, but this your friend is corrupt. That's the quarrel. And you too, you are corrupt. Because the election that brought him in 2018, even though it was said to be peaceful, but the people still believe that he rigged to become president. And they don't still see him as a good person because over time, he has not offered leadership in the way that the people will say we have a president. And now you that is corrupt, you are bringing a man whose antecedents are clear to us. Let me talk like this. You could bring your friend who is clean. There's some friends who will look at you eyeball to eyeball and know what is right. But you see, it's just that this your own friend now is not a friend like that, because he has been proven to be corrupt, because they mentioned a few things he has had opportunities to hold sway, and he was corrupt. But I won't say that too. The electoral body is made up of 15 people. So if one man is said to be corrupt, how about the other 14 people? So it's not to me a total thing to quarrel about. If you have a 15-man body, and okay, fine, the head is corrupt, fine. But this body was appointed in 2014 to prosecute election in 2016. So it's not him that appointed them. It's not him. So there are 14 other people on that same commission. So if the head is corrupt, oh fine. If the other 14 are also not like the head, then they can be able to balance and checkmate him. But we in Africa was okay, fine, since the head is bad, the whole body will be bad. It may not be, because the head was created now. The body was created many years ago.
Many years ago.
Many years ago, but they not brought a head and put. So for me, the protest is right because they have found this man not to be fit and proper by virtue of the fact that he's a corrupt person. So that's why the protest must subsist until December 2023. The process for me is for the man to just honorably say, because of this protest, my friend, you're my friend though, but please stay off.
Stay off.
The people say they don't want you because, it may not say you are corrupt, but because you're too close to me. They may just hide under and say because you're too close to me, they don't want you. But he also knows that the man is corrupt. Because they are friends.
They're friends.
They are friends.
Okay. Well, Honorable Frank Amigo, do you have a contrasting opinion to his?
Well, not so clearly contrasting. Because I had to find out why is it that the DRO Congolese are refusing to accept the personality of Kadima. And a closer look at his personality, he has held several positions, including at the United Nations level, UNIRED, that's the United Nations Integrated Referendum and Electoral Division. He was the head. So if you say corruption is a synonym with Africa. What I think is wrong in this process is the president trying to use him. The president has been labeled as being corrupt to the extent that people are never asking for a comeback of Kabila that was there for 18 years. And they complained then. Kabila and Phyllis, this present president,
Yeah.
to me, I would prefer this Felix. You got his surname somehow. I prefer him because
It's a kid.
This is a kid.
Yeah.
So I prefer because he's just got into power. And he just wants to do a little thing differently. But I also observed that Kadima is from the same province with the president. Apart from being friends, they're from the same province. So people don't just like him. And from a little analysis, I observed that Kabila featured somebody else to run against Phyllis. And along the line, his own candidate didn't do well. So he had to pitch tent with Phyllis. As he pitched tent with him, and Phyllis ended up winning against the major opposition leader now. So anything that Tshisekedi will do will be viewed so differently. So no matter how bad it will be as a president, Kadima will not be as bad as he is. So he just needs someone to help carry on with his plans. In the sense that Kadima, by his educational qualifications, I think by now should be through with his PhD in South Africa. He's well read. For UN to give him a position to head it, he did things on politics, elections, and all that. He even has a journal to that effect. And the present president wants to use someone that will help him in 2023. And that's why the person that was ready for that is Kadima. So we know that the way DRC is, they have had a lot of challenges. If you look for the poorest countries in Africa, they will rank first or second. Though they have a large expanse of land, they are the largest in terms of area in sub-Saharan Africa, second in Africa, and 11th in the whole world. So they are not able to manage their people properly. No thanks to the former president, Kabila, that was there for 18 years. A population of about 93 million that you cannot control. So they have a large expanse of land to work with fewer people. In terms of density now, it's very low. So what people are suffering from now is the decadence orchestrated by the former president. So anybody that gets into power now will be viewed as not being competent. That's the way I see it. Because the president wants to come back. He has the right to come back. But the people are saying by way of protest that the Article 5 of their constitution creates sovereignty for them. And now they want to exercise their sovereignty. They have the right still. And the incoming of Kadima, he didn't force himself into it. Tshisekedi did not force Kadima on them. The way the place is, when I read it a little bit, I was even happy. That should be a thing that should happen in Nigeria, whereby religious bodies are involved. 8 of them, 6 agreed to bring in Kadima. 2 refused, the Catholics and the Protestants. But the Catholics and Protestants are saying that the other 6 groups were lobbied. Lobbied, okay, but the man was brought in. The House of Assembly screened him, they found him okay. And last month, 26th, he was sworn in as the president of the electoral body. So I don't really know why there is tension.
I don't really know why there is tension. Now, the church, talk about the Catholic and the Protestant, and of course the populists are saying that, look, this is all about the election coming in 2 years' time. This guy is too close to you. You are bringing politics into the electoral body. But what he said, the process that saw Kadima becoming the head of the electoral body, they call it independent electoral body of a DR Congo, so of that nature, it was by pure vote. 2 disagreed, 6 agreed. Now, is that enough for these people to start protesting? Because Felix Tshisekedi wasn't there. He wasn't there.
It's not an issue of votes now. Even if everybody agreed and the man's antecedents are clear as a bad man, it doesn't really stop anybody. If the 8 religious bodies agreed, people are saying that is a PhD candidate does not make him the most fit person for the appointment. His antecedents in the United Nations, yes, fine, but the people who live with him, who know him, they are coming to say, fine, we cannot accept this man. Yes, it is true that maybe he's being brought in for a purpose, to help actualize a dream. Fine, but the man himself has been extracted by the Congolese, and they say, this man, we don't want him. Not because he's just president's friend. Yes, fine, that is bad enough. But the man's records, by our own estimation, is a very bad one. We don't want him. I haven't said all of this.
But this is about that worked in the UN.
Yes, people have worked there and have come out, dirty. People have worked and come out dirty. So it's not a question of, so what I'm saying to all of us in African country, the man is a very critical position. So critical. So you need a man who has character. Who has character. And if for any reason your character is in doubt, the only good thing to do is to just on your own withdraw. Because if the people say they don't trust your honesty or sincerity, because at the end of the day, it's a process that people must celebrate. And if you are going to drive the process and they don't think that you are fit and proper, even if the president didn't remove you, I mean, the honorable thing to do is to say, well, although in Africa, people don't do that kind of honorable parts by saying, okay, fine, okay, let me withdraw. Until you push them out. They don't understand that the honorable thing to do, if everybody is saying we don't want you, and I say, you just talk about 95 million people. They have gone beyond that. Now they're about 105 million people now. And two, they are, you see, for a country that have fought 2 wars, they are poor people. They have fought 2 wars in that country. And those two wars had about 5.4 million killed in a small country. And today, over 4 million are homeless. They are homeless. In a poor country, yes, they have so much by way of resources. In fact, Chinese has taken over almost half of that country now. They have, the Chinese government has taken over that country sufficiently well now. So it's a poor country. Yes, Kabila must have contributed to their present state of woe, but the Benin will say to a Benin person, could you
please
interpret? Let him learn first.
Could you please interpret? For the viewers who understand, the non-Benin speaking viewers.
So if you are celebrating a dead leader, a leader, in the presence of a living leader, there's something wrong with that. It is true that Kabila was not, he was also corrupt. Well, it was also corrupt, even his father was also corrupt. But people are saying, okay, among 2 bad things, this one is worse than this bad one. We said this one was bad, but now we have seen a worse one. So let us go back to that bad one. But having said all of this, I want to believe that they will still come to the table to sit down to discuss, because it is the poor people that die in this kind of process. The man can afford to kill everybody to achieve his objective, and he will not even bother. So I think it's not enough to keep behaving like this, because in the last 6 months, I hear since they appointed him, since they appointed the electoral officer last month, 6 months before his appointment, there was also an uproar.
An uproar, yeah.
Now there's a further uproar. They have increased the level of the tempo of the uproar. Now they're killing people. So why must we go and die? The president should just, take the part of honor. Okay, I gotta say you're my friend, but it doesn't seem as if you can drive this process. Please stay off. Let's look at a scenario. In Nigeria, for instance, the electoral head, the INEC has 36 commissioners. If the national chairman is corrupt, should he force it down on the 36 commissioners who are even appointed by the president? They're appointed by the president here. And so if we have seen an electoral commissioner in this country that stood up against oppression. One commissioner, we know him, he stood up against oppression and he said, no, I must do what is right. And he did what he considered right. So I want to think that they should not kill themselves over 1 out of 15, even though that one is very powerful. They should go back and say, okay, 14 of you, please be honest with the process. Fight this one. Fight this one. So we look forward to a system whereby if the man refuses to withdraw or they refuse to change him, the other 14 people can sit down and say, we must do what we think is right and be on the part of the people.
All right, now do you see the other 14 doing what is right and be on the side of the people?
Yeah, I want to agree in part with what my senior rebel said. It becomes unconstitutional for Kadima to step down because it was duly put in that position, sworn in. At the point of swearing or before swearing, that is when the consideration or reconsideration should have been done. Now it has been sworn in. What constitutional provision in DROC will you now use to say, I put it to you that I should step down? You can't step down. You can't judge him based on his intentions now or the intention of the president. He has not committed any crime as far as being president of the Electoral Commission is concerned. He has not done anything. So if the DROC wants to do what is right, they should interact with the president. Just as we were saying that the 14 should do the needful, and interact with the 14. So if you are not forcing it on Kadima to step aside, as I said, it's unconstitutional.
No, I'm not saying that. I've not said that. I'm saying it is him. It is his conscience. It's him.
What has he done? What has he done?
No, if people are protesting, I'm sorry, I may be wrong. If people are protesting, and you find out that not everybody now, the majority are saying, and people are dying. They are saying
majority of the opposition.
Yes, they're fine. You know.
We are coming to that. We are coming to that. Opposition will come to that.
No, fine. And they are saying this is what. But again, maybe we need to also let you know that there are 3 commissions he has headed before in
Congo.
Congo. And those 3 commissions were not well run.
Assessed by who?
By the people. No, but the people are the people. I mean, they're the ones.
All right, Honorable, now you just hold on.
Okay.
He raised a point, 14 of them, saying, look, they heard they should do the needful.
Yes.
But some are saying this protest is politically motivated.
Exactly so.
I agree
By
with you.
Martin
Fayulu.
Fayulu.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you on that.
That's the main opposition leader.
Now that Martin Fayulu is behind all
Yes.
this, do you see sense in this protest? Let's really take a look at
because
it
there
circumspectly.
is selfishness here now.
Yeah.
There is self-centeredness. Because you didn't win against the incumbent president.
Yes.
Now you want everything turned upside down in your favor. And we have seen it. Our artists are there everywhere in Nigeria. Even presently in Nigeria. I must be this, I must be that. Now they gave you the work to do. You can't deliver. So most times activists can't deliver. Because they can only deliver in opposition. If you say A, they'll say B. Now there's no opposition. Okay, do it yourself. You wouldn't know what to do. So it's too short a time for us to judge the president. It's just on 3 years against 18 years of misrule of Kabila. So let this man come in. As let him finish his tenure. You are seeing, maybe with a telescope or with any glass, that by 2023 he shouldn't come back. What law or part of the constitution is going to prevent him from coming back? So one thing I've seen in leadership, once you are a leader, you have the prerogative to decide who works with you.
Sure.
So let's allow him have that privilege. They will not come back and meet Kadima. Kadima, you are there not for the president. You are there for the whole nation. So let the integrity of Kabila be on the front burner. Let everybody see it. To not judge him before he acted becomes another challenge.
Sure.
He has not done anything.
Sure.
Is there any officer on the government positions in Nigeria that has not been so suspected? Is there any? From creation of this country.
All right, now you just hold on. I want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. Do not go anywhere. This is Africa Discourse. We'll be right back.
Very well played.
Thank you so much for staying with us, joined us. This is Africa Discourse. We're taking a look at depoliticization of, the electoral body. We are talking about the Congo electoral crisis. Thousands of millions of protesters came out in the Congo saying the electoral umpire, the one heading it, is too close to the president. It's like they are besties, and that will not give them the best in election. They should demarcate politics, from the electoral umpire. That the electoral umpire must truly be independent, shouldn't have any affiliation with the executive. Why Felix Tshisekedi on his own part says, look, the Constitution brought this man in. I wasn't there when the election was conducted. It was free, fair appointment. And this man hasn't started doing anything yet. Why the hula baloo? Why the fight? Why the protest? Why the rioting? I have to cut you off because we have to go for a break. Please conclude your point before we come to Honorable Agari. Say Dubo. You're talking about the opposition being behind it. Take it up from there.
Yes, is the opposition, Martin Fayulu, there is a challenge. Win. The president didn't come for a problem. If you recall, in 2011, the father was into politics. He contested. So the father is gone now, and this present president has been into politics. But the way Fayulu is taking it is taking too personal. And if such a person becomes a president, you begin to notice two things, two striking things. Number one, presidentialization of power. That's the first thing he will do, because such an activist, as we have seen in Nigeria and other parts of the world, they can't be good leaders. They can't be. If they get there, they won't consider your point.
But Nelson Mandela was an activist. And he was a good leader.
Against his people?
He was a good leader.
It wasn't against his people. It was against white rule. If the president of DRC brings in a DRC citizen, is that a problem? If that thing happened in Nigeria, would that be a problem? Has it not been happening? That appointments are lopsided. Who complained? Who demonstrated? Who rioted? That is his bosom friend. Who else should he appoint or suggest? As he suggested his name, everybody see it necessary to bring him in, then you vote. Those religious groups voted. 6 said for, 2 said against. The 2 against are not the ones being used by the opposition leader to perpetrate this violence. A lot of persons on the streets is a French country. A lot of them don't know what they are fighting for. This is not the first time you see placards being turned upside down. They don't know what is written there. This president of the Electoral Commission is well read, maybe because I'm a lecturer. He speaks English fluently, he speaks French fluently, and some basic parts of Portuguese. So he's well read. He knows how to do this thing. Allow him.
Okay.
Don't judge him by the past. This is a present job that he has not done before. If he did it before and there was an uproar, we'll not say, okay, why bring him the second time? This is his first time of doing this job.
This particular job.
This is his first time.
Honorable.
To allow him drink water and drop the cup.
Drop the cup. Honorable, he said Martins is behind all of this because he lost to Felix.
No, it's possible.
Yeah.
He still believes that he won the election. He still believes that it's possible. It's possible he could be behind all of this. But the point I have kept on making, I'm not quarreling with the fact that he's the president's friend. The president did not need to go and appoint his enemy. I mean, that is totally clear. The president will only appoint his friend or somebody he thinks will not be opposed to whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
So these are issues so they must take that out of the whole argument. I've also said the electoral body is made up of 15 people, 15 qualified people. You have removed 1, there are still 14. Amongst whom anybody can be chairman. Now you are bringing 1 chairman, fine. The clear thing that people must, you must divorce yourself. Divorce yourself from the process.
From the process.
People are believing that the process is not different from the actor. So these are issues. So now, maybe this protest eventually will now make the electoral president to think straight. Maybe now, okay, now he's conscious of the fact that, oh, people are opposed to your appointment. So by the time he now faces the job, he will now understand that, I must be very careful, because from the very beginning, people were opposed to this appointment. So it could also be a blessing in disguise, where the man will now say, okay, oh yes, now I have to work and be straight with my, my activities. But I won't say all of this. Let's look at another scenario. The man has 2 years to the major election. And if you look at he has never done this job before, yes. But when you are looking at a man, you look at his past. At times you don't, although those of us who are Christians, we say if a man has repented of his sins, you don't look at the past. Even our master said, go and sin no more. Yes, fine. So he could be able to prove to people that, okay, fine. Yes, even if I committed errors before, mistakes before, this is a brand new person. I divorced myself from my past, and I'm a brand new person. So look at me as a new person. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible because this president has just been there for 3 years. He has 2 more years to go. There could be some infractions, but I haven't heard of this. I still believe that those who believe that he's looking at 2023 ahead of time and is looking at the process towards that, is now trying to plant persons who can help him to achieve all of that. They may also not be wrong. They may also not be wrong. But it is now left to him to now prove that all of these things you are saying, they are not correct. Me, as president, I will be straight enough to lead this country. One of the things they said about him, that he's not a leader, because they believe that there has been, even in 3 years of his administration, there has been several protests from different groups. People have been slammed into jail. There has been many infractions and all that in these 3 years. So people have cause to say he has not provided leadership the way they thought it should be. But having said all of this, the man could be a new person. He has 2 years to go. They might accommodate him for the remaining 2 years. It may not be enough to say we don't want you for the next tenure. It may not be enough, but he himself must show to the people, okay, fine, if you think I've not done it in 3 years, I have 2 years to go. These 2 years I want to dedicate to the service of my people in a manner that will be collective. If people, nobody likes to fight, nobody wants to die, but people want to die if they don't have hope.
They don't have hope.
They don't have hope. So if they look at your government as a government that has now killed hope, the only option left for them is to die. And in that process, they can do many things. A man who is sinking can look for whatever to hold on to. And in the process, everybody will just go down. So I want to pray that let them look at it holistically with a view to, so to speak, deciphering what could be the problem, so that they can have a proper DRC. Okay. Otherwise, DRC will just be scattered, because they have never settled since independence. That country has never known peace since independence. I mean, 61 years. I mean, they're still fighting
amongst themselves.
You know,
now, let's take a look at election year. Morally speaking, is it right for someone that close, when you have interest in a particular office, politically speaking, is it right for you to appoint that person as the head of the election you'll be involved in?
Well, it would be unfair for me to go straight into answering that question.
No,
because the president did not appoint him.
Because that is a crime, right?
Because the president did not appoint him.
Like the election will not be free because of
he nominated him.
That is
people had the right to step that thing down, to vote against it. And 8 religious groups came together. It was the president's right to nominate. That he did. If that nomination was wrong, the groups that voted, they would have upheld it. Or as he got to the assembly, they would have dropped him. They screened him. It hasn't happened in Nigeria.
The president appointed. Let's say the president nominated.
Yes, a lot of.
Is that not enough writing on the wall that this is the president's?
No, if the handwriting was there, there's an eraser.
In politics,
the people have the eraser.
No, in politics,
the 8 groups, religious groups, had the eraser.
Yes.
The House of Assembly had a TPS, corrupting fluid. To have done that, it happens regularly in Nigeria. You feed somebody. There was a woman from South that was brought in by the president, nominated. They said no, into ANEC, one of the commissioners. They said no. They screened. So if it happens that the woman was later on brought in, you don't blame that on the president anymore. So the president of DRC nominated Kadima, and they saw in him that the 6 groups, whether they were lobbied or not, saw in him that it should be the person against the other 2. So it's a matter of numbers. 6 against 2. 6 had it. That's 1. 2, they got to the assembly, they screened him, it was okay. So what I'm saying there now is Martin Fayulu does not want Phyllis to rule. He doesn't want him personally.
I
have a reason for that. I have a reason for that.
In politics, okay, go.
I have a reason for that.
All right.
There was a survey conducted recently this year that in December 2018, 97% of the DRC citizens were ready to vote, and they voted 97%. This year, March, it dropped from 97 to 67%. I'm talking about, trying to look at voter apathy now. It dropped to 67% in March. But in September, later on, 2 months ago, it dropped to 40%. So there is an undertone to this process of protests. So if Fayulu wants to be president, he has to wait for the people to vote him in, not to create problems for the incumbent president.
Over to you.
No, you see,
because he made a valid point.
let me take you on your. If the thing is dropping, the apathy.
Yes.
So it means that people are.
No thanks to Fayulu.
Yeah, people are, so to speak, not
disillusioned, so to speak.
Yes,
Yeah.
not happy with the system. So it's it's enough for him, the president, to say, what is all this problem? But having said all of this, when you find a process, the body language of the president is important. If the president nominates RRSA, for instance,
Why not?
and he brings him before all of you to clear, the president has told you, this is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased. So you all now work to actualize the president's ambition. Oh, listen, it's a normal, it's only in an extreme case. In an extreme case, will the president's nomination fail? It may be an extreme case to say president has nominated this person and it's going to fail. It's a very extreme case. So most times, when he presents a nominee to the assembly, it's as good as saying this is what the president wants. Whatever you need to do to make him get his way, you do by whichever way, either by lobby or by whatever. So it's not a question of whether the 8 religious people, they are just an auxiliary. They're not. They are, even if all of them voted 8 over 8, it was not enough to do anything. It's just by the side. They are not lawmakers.
That act is constitutional.
I agree with you, sir. But the real people that really did those ones in the assembly
to screen.
Yeah, the 300 and whatever people that did that. Oh yeah, those are the ones who are the ones you need to lobby. The religious bodies, Christians, you know. I mean, you all know what can be done. But those people.
I don't know. Maybe he knows.
You know.
So he will let me know.
Those people in the assembly, they look at the president's body language, and the man he could be a good man. I'm not saying
that's Kadima.
Yes,
okay.
He could be a good man. Could be a good man. Yes, the opposition is fighting to say we don't want him because he's close to the president and so on. So having said all of this, the man could be a born again. He has changed from the usual things that people used to, tag him with. But we could give him a chance. It's possible. We could give him a chance. But that is close to the president, for me, should not be a major reason for which people should fight him. They should look at his character. I have seen a friend who can face another friend eyeball to eyeball and say, what you are doing is not right. He can face you eyeball to eyeball. And he could have a choice to go the other way. But he says to you, even though you are my friend, this thing is not right. I will not support you to do it, because at the end of the day, it is not in the corporate interest of our people. The people should be supreme. And if you fight the people, then of course you have no country. I mean, you have no country. If the people are always at war against the policy, always at war, then of course something must be bad with that, must be wrong with that. So for me, the president must look at it again holistically and say to himself, can my people keep dying because of my decision? Or should I let this man just come off? There's nothing wrong in pulling him off and just come off and say, let there be peace. And let there be peace. The Congo, like he made a point that some people don't know they turn the poster
placards.
Even here in Nigeria. We have seen protests before. We have seen protests in Nigeria. And you ask the man, why are you protesting? He said, I don't know. The man is in a crowd. People are shooting people. They are killing people. You ask, and you now single out one person. Why are you? Say, I don't know. So it's everywhere. It's even in the highest area where people are educated. You see them behaving so stupid. You just see a man just join the crowd. You are following them to where? You don't know. So it's important for us to understand that people, you see, lives are very, very sacred. But if I were president and people are dying, whether they are opposition or no opposition, I will have a rethink. I say, look, these people are dying. One life is very important. Now they have killed over 500 people. I mean, why for what? Why? So for me, I think they have to review it. The Catholics and the Protestants, they are a major group in
Congo.
Yes,
yeah.
they are bigger than the other 6. All of them put together. They are bigger than all of them. So their views are also important. Their views are also important because the Catholic is major in DR. So it's important for us to understand that these people, their opinions could be respected. But having said this, is their country. Let their president sit down and say, I gotta say, I beg, just come out, bring Wilson. If that will create a semblance.
So who is not the president?
No, hold on, I'm coming to that. Do you see?
Go off. Come, Wilson. and go and do this thing.
Now, do you see this man stepping down because of this process?
Who is stepping down? Who? The president or the...
in Africa,
the head of the commission.
We don't step down in Africa. We don't
He can step down.
He can step down, but
the constitution brought him to power. He was sworn in.
Step down. Even
what ground should he step down? If I am to ask you again, what offense has he committed?
Despite the protest, people are dying.
Who are those protesting? Do you know that the protest against Kadima is a direct protest against the president? They don't have a respect for the president's nomination. The president did not decide on Kadima. He didn't decide.
But he nominated.
That was his duty.
And that is like this.
He did his bit and moved to the next stage, whereby the 8 religious groups could do their own bit. They did their own bit. Onward transfer to the National Assembly. They did their own. And the judiciary swore him in on the 26th of October. I'm not only brief for the president, I don't know him. But when in a way like Kadima, he's a young man.
So you have this soft spot for him already?
In September, he clocked 60. Do we have such young people in Nigeria at the aims of affairs? Very few.
Oh, yes.
Very few.
Atahiru was not 60.
No, very few.
No, Atahiru was not 60.
He said very few.
Very few.
Very few.
You and I, you made a comment last month. We were together somewhere.
Yes. I like young people.
Yeah.
I like young people.
We saw the youngest.
Yes.
That's my own political. The youngest of a president of an association.
Sure.
A youth. We say a youth, not this Niger Delta youth of 80 becoming a youth leader. Really youth. He anchored the program. We were there together.
What are you talking about? You mean that people bring over age to call them youth?
Because of resource control.
No. Is it that guy?
Let's respect that region, please.
No. I mean, there's a political party where the leader is 64.
64. You leader.
No, I mean, these are not,
I know what I'm talking about.
No, there's a political party now. The leader is 64. These are not. I agree with you.
Yes.
In Nigeria, we've had younger electoral officers here. I mean, we know that. Yeah. But having said that, we are not from DRC. But if people say Agarese is close to Wilson, and for that reason Wilson cannot appoint him, that may not be right.
That can't be right.
That may not be right. But if they say Wilson, Agarese is not a good man. He's your friend, but we know from the other things he's done before, we don't respect him. He could have changed. So that's where I'm going. If he has changed, there are times people judge people wrongly. There are times they look at you, they may not like you, they will just frame up some few things just to get you in bad shape. They may not be correct. But you may look at all of this together and say, okay, fine. Yes, you said Agarese is not a good man, but all the things you said about him before are not correct because I've subjected them to a test, and they failed. So the man is a good man because you judged him wrongly. That is also still possible. But whatever way it goes, if people will keep dying, I mean, for God's sake.
A question should be answered.
But he said, who are those people dying?
Why are those people dying? Orchestrated by Martin Fayulu.
Are you not saying that Martin should be arrested?
Why not? She should be interrogated. If not arrested, she should be interrogated.
But all of them, they're protesting. They are not all Martins. They are saying they want to come to their own.
Is the rig leader of that group, if you read closely, is the one that called out the protest.
No,
he's
fine,
the one.
But people are dying. I mean,
the security agencies should call him to order.
So
what you want is personal against a national and holistic activity. You don't want this. They call the House president. House is chairman of INEC. That is president.
Yes, sure.
The president of the Electoral Commission. You don't want him because the president nominated him. Not that he was sworn in.
Which is normal.
Which is normal.
It's normal.
So what you're actually against is the president that you contested against in 2018 and you failed. And you are saying not to something that is not real, that you won that election.
All right, gentlemen, if you take a look at the time, our time is almost up. What advice do you have for the president of the Independent Electoral Commission in Congo? And of course, you can spread a message across both African countries that are appointing, electoral umpire, chairman, or president close to them. What do you think should be doing?
If I speak as a Nigerian, if I speak as a Nigerian, nothing is wrong with that. But we have seen 1,001 of that occurring per time.
Per time.
Yeah. My take, don't go and die for a cause you don't understand. Because most people who are just dying now, they don't even know why they are dying. They just, actors don't die in the film.
if it appears that he died, there'll be a part 2. There'll be a part 2.
So it's the people that used to that died. So those who are dying now are just dying for nothing.
So the President Felix and of course the President of Electoral Empire, they're all actors.
They're actors in it.
And they don't die.
No, they can't.
People are just dying for nothing. For causes they don't even understand. So I will advise, don't go and die for what you don't understand. Don't go and die.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, because right now the protest is still raging on. Felix is like, come on, I just nominated, I didn't do the vote. Okay, for now he's a president according to the Constitution, which is legal. Why Martin is saying, come the general election, if this man is there, is going to fall to favor of the president. He should be uprooted even right now, and is supported by religious body, Catholic and Protestants, the highest or largest religious group in DR Congo. What do you think will be the outcome of this? Do you see him stepping down? Or do you see the president calling for, a kind of an address in the nation? Is he going to do it? What will be the outcome of all of this? Gentlemen, once more, I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was on point. Anyway, God willing, tomorrow, see you on International Forum. Bye for now.